5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is up, everyone? Christopher Coleman here with Tracksounds.com. You're listening to our fourth episode of the SoundCast, and thanks again for coming back and listening to this podcast. We appreciate you taking some time out of your day and spending it with us like this. In this episode, we have a couple things for you that I know you're going to be interested in. A couple interviews, actually. One with composer Jermaine Stegall, who has written the original score for the short film entitled Turbo, which is a very, very interesting looking film. It's going to be debuting in a couple weeks itself at a special festival in LA, featuring a number of short films, and the buzz around this particular short seems to be very positive thus far. Many of you have seen the trailer, and the description of the film itself is an intriguing one, where it's been called a combination of Tron meets The Karate Kid. Now, any of you who grew up in the 80s, like I did, will have fond memories of both of those films, so a combination of them both could be very entertaining. And so we were able to speak with composer Jermaine Stegall about his contribution to the short, and I know you'll enjoy that. Afterwards, we will also hear from composer Drasko Vucevic, who is a composer in the Toronto area and is going to be speaking at an upcoming conference in Toronto, sponsored by the Guild of Canadian Film Composers in just a couple weeks on April 25th. And he is not only a film composer, a game composer, but is, in the strictest sense of the term, a new media composer, writing music and doing sound design for clients such as American Airlines, the NHL, the NFL, Smirnoff, and he's going to be sharing a little bit about his background, his career, and what he sees as the some of the current trends in new media composing. And that was one track from the upcoming film Turbo, which was composed by Jermaine Stegall. Turbo is a short film that is about to debut at Paramount Pictures on April 30th, and I was able to sit down for a few minutes with composer Jermaine Stegall a few days ago to talk about his involvement on this special project, where Turbo is a short film. It has the production value of something a bit above that, and so it's a very unique project that he was able to work on. So this is a few minutes of that conversation with Jermaine Stegall.
It's funny, they're actually mixing the movie right now, and I just came from the mix to do this call, which it's cool because the Tadeo is located right behind my studio. So I walked here. It took me 5 minutes to walk here.
Nice.
Back here, so it's kind of cool.
Nice. So it's all fresh right now.
Yeah, it's totally fresh. It should be done in 3 hours. It'll be done mixing.
Now, I listened to the piece you gave me, and you know what? When the first time listening to it through, the first thing that came to my mind was it has a little kind of 80s coin-op video vibe in there. Was that intentional?
Yeah, the filmmaker, the director Jarrett, was trying to go for kind of an iconic kind of retro throwback to the 80s in terms of video games, late 80s. The early 90s in the sense of you know kind of what when video games really started to go crazy, like with the Super Mario Brothers and some of those retro type sounds, but still keeping it somewhat modern and relevant to today's culture and its modern sensibility of the music. But that was definitely purposeful to have it sound a little bit retro.
Okay, well, I liked it. Now, was that the main title?
That's that cue that you heard. Actually, it's in the beginning of the movie. There's actually not a main title for the movie. It kind of just opens and you're in the world of Turbo. but that is a theme for one of the main characters in the movie that you heard. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Now, how did you get connected to Jarrett Conaway? Is it the USC thing?
Yeah, well, USC, I finished going to school at USC in 2004 and ended up being introduced to him at some point on my way out of school, and actually worked on an early film that he did the year after I graduated in 2005. That was his first year, I believe, as a master's student at USC, and we've just kind of kept in touch ever since. Ever since then. He, after that went on to do the Spielberg produced On the Lot TV show and was a finalist on there. And I ended up, I scored a project that he submitted to actually get on the show. And just, kept in touch. And, it's funny because back in 2005, he used to talk about, oh man, my thesis is going to be this. I hope that, it's going to be that. I hope that it's great. We're going to just shoot for the moon in this thing. And like, for anyone who sees the trailer knows that,
Yeah.
or will know that he shot for the moon and pretty much hit it.
Pretty much got it. Yeah.
It's pretty serious.
Yeah. Well, I was quite impressed for it to be a short. I actually watched the trailer, and then I discovered that it's just, I say just, but
Yeah,
it's a short
well,
film.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not approached to look like a short at all. They approached it in a way that this is a movie basically.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, the mature approach to take.
Oh, absolutely. Now, how long is the film?
It's about 20 minutes.
20 minutes long. And so, how much music did you end up writing for it?
I think. Well, there's a lot. I never totaled it up. It's probably between 10 and 15 minutes of stuff.
So there's quite a bit of music within the film itself.
Yeah, there's a lot. A lot.
Well, I'd like to welcome Drasko Vucevic to the SoundCast today, who is a composer and audio engineer in Canada, and he is going to be speaking at a conference here in a couple weeks in Toronto, and he's also completed a recent project for a recent game for the iPhone, and so it's a privilege to have you on the SoundCast today, Drasko.
Thank you.
Let me just ask you, just to acquaint the audience with you a little bit, how did you come into this field of music composition and sound design?
I actually graduated from school 2005, 2006, and started getting into the mastering mixing business a bit more, and just started exploring and getting in touch with everybody I can. One thing led to another. I formed a company just so I was able to present myself in a better way to everybody as a freelancer / company. So it started pretty much as a mastering service that led on to full audio solutions for interactive, for broadcast, and so on.
Okay, and now with your company, you've been able to work with clients like American Airlines, the NFL, the NHL, Smirnoff. Can you talk about a little bit about the process that you go through in working with these companies and what you actually provide for them?
Sure. Well, I provide everything from sound design to music composition, editing, and mastering, mixing, and so on. But the interactive industry is a little bit different from everything else. It's kind of like the spider web of all other media industries, because it involves a lot of the elements from broadcast. There's a lot of motion video. There's a lot of 3D motion on websites. It involves a lot of gaming, because that's the technology is pretty much allowing us to put everything on the web now in terms of speed and quality. So it's it can range from doing linear stuff to composing directly to picture, to doing totally nonlinear and experimental sound design for games and stuff like that.
You've been listening to a special preview edition of the SoundCast. Full episodes of the SoundCast can be found at Tracksounds.com.